Greetings, Darklings, from across the interweb. It is once again I, the Duchess Precious Ken, back here for the Sounds and Shadows podcast. And I have an exciting guest, and we're going to get to that. But first, I got a couple of announcements to do and shout outs. Number one, I talked about it yesterday in the group, but I'm rocking my Gloom Wizard shirt. Annabelle's band in Mexico, an amazing goth band. And in general, I mean, just the Mexican goth scene is something that everybody needs to be paying attention to. There's so many talented bands there. So check out Gloom Wizard. And then also for an unboxing, I received in the mail the other day, even though it was only coming from Ann Arbor, Michigan, so it wasn't far, but the new Rohn Lederman album, which I'll have a review up soon, COP International, and our dear friends Jean-Marc and Emily here. They even signed it for me. Very kind of them. Very cool album. So we'll be talking about that and reviewing it soon. We also had a record drop that I was going to give a quick shout out to before we get started. And it's Eva X just had a new album out and tour that she's doing called Fiction. And the pre-order is available now. Go check out Eva X. Very talented lady. Just a wonderful presence that Gabby has, and their live show is a lot of fun. So, without further ado now, this is an interview that's kind of been a long time coming, and one that we had discussed doing, and now we have a lot of exciting things for her to announce. But a band that I first got turned on to when I heard a single called Nazi Goths Fuck Off, and shared it in the group and was just blown away. And I was like, this is the energy that the scene needs right now. So it is my pleasure to introduce all the way from Finland, Suzi Sabotage. Welcome to the show.
Hiya. Hi, Ken.
Hi, it's so great to see you in person, and I love your whole energy, aesthetic, just the stark boldness, goblin queen thing that you have going on, the Bowie-esque hair there. And I always like to start out with guests to introduce you to our fan base here, learning a little about your history. So there was a moment, concert, an album you heard for the first time where you said, this music scene is for me. This is who I am, and that I'm a part of this. Tell me a little bit about that moment that brought you in.
I suppose it was always coming because since my early adolescence, I kind of listened to bands with like gothic undertones, or at least dark undertones, and yeah, then it caught on like through punk. Then I like evolved into this whole like gothic aesthetic and gothic sound afterwards, and here we are.
And here we are. Wonderful. Tell me a little bit going along with that. How you started out, some of your early recordings or bands that people can find that kind of brought you to the present, which we'll get talking about.
So which bands?
With your early music, some of the first things you did with this project that people could check out before we get to talking about your new things.
Right. Yeah. Well, Persona non grata comes to mind, obviously. Like it was the first single that I released, at least like with the current like incarnation of my music. So yeah, that is still like one of my most streamed songs. So I guess, I mean, it was a good opener.
Yeah.
For all this.
And what was that song to you? Kind of what was the meaning behind it to you that kind of inspired you to write that song?
Well, it was like sound wise, it was an experiment, obviously, since I was very new to composing stuff myself, and I've always written lyrics, but it's not like the composition part was very new to me
Sure.
at the time, and the lyrics are basically about being an outcast, or not, like not fully accepted within like in the group, in like that you are sort of a part of, but being like sort of like on the fringe
Sure.
of it, and like a non-conformist.
I think that's something that, a lot of people in the goth scene obviously relate to very much, and, are drawn to that energy. So very cool. Um, so like I mentioned when we first started, that first song, the Nazi goths fuck off, is what kind of brought you to my attention. And a lot of fans and artists want to avoid political stances a lot, because it does. I mean, in today's polarized world, taking a stance on anything cuts you off from a lot of other people. That's kind of how, I don't know, the world is now. And but that's not what, Joe Strummer and the punk ethos and idea trained us for, that you need to be loud and proud saying that message. Tell me a little bit about why sending that message to the wrong elements of our scene was so important to you, and what it felt like to really shout out that song and proclaim it to the world.
Yeah. I guess it all started when I saw, like, in the beginning of the decade, that there were many artists and bands being outed as very far right, or saying in public all kinds of things that really uh, that really went against the whole ideology of the scene, the whole freedom to be yourself and not being like uniform, and that since the scene was founded by marginalized people, and those who are like belong to groups that are usually, like, in society seen as unfavorable, then if you bring forward politics into the mix, it's just, it's untenable. It doesn't go together, and it's either or. I felt like that it's either gonna eat the whole scene alive, or then, like, we must show them the door.
Right. And as you said, I mean, this was a scene that was founded on testing boundaries, having clubs that were a safe place for people to explore gender boundaries, explore fashion boundaries, all of those things, to find within themselves a place where freaks could be together and dance and do that. And it really is terrifying when you see some of the elements that have kind of corrupted and seeped into this scene that, to me, should be all about freedom of expression and inviting everyone in.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that is why that I love that song. That's why it resonated with me a lot. And it's got a video on YouTube. I highly recommend for everybody to go check that one out, and look up Suzi Sabotage there. So the next thing I wanted to talk with you about is being over in Finland, which is a place where I don't know a ton of bands from and coming out of some, but it definitely is a place that's very distinct to me. Tell me some of the ways the music scene there differs to maybe some of the other places that you've played and that you're excited to play. And did where you came from there have an impact on the music you write? I know for me, take I see a kitty tail behind you.
Yeah, yeah, a cameo appearance.
Yeah, no, I got one down here too. I was gonna grab her. But Carl from Antipole, a friend of mine, a very, very cool band over in Norway. When I hear his music, I almost feel like I know that city or that country because I can hear it in the way that he writes. And just, do you feel like that place and growing up there played a factor in the sound of your music?
Well, it's Helsinki is sort of this amalgamation of like urban landscape and like forest type of nature type of view. So yeah, I guess that contributed to at least the whole synthesized music with some like neo folk elements.
Yeah.
I guess that way it did influence me.
Do you think that the scene there, kind of the clubs that you go to, the bands that you've known there, um, how do they differ from maybe some of the other places that you've traveled and played?
Uh, Good question. I guess it's that it's always very well, at least the most part of the year it's very cold and dark and often it makes people, it makes the local population quite, like it affects the mood and makes us more prone to depression and melancholy and so on. I guess that kind of plays a role in the whole dark gold wave thing, and it makes us more drawn to alternative music where expressions of like sadness and all kinds of like what people see as negative, that it draws us more than the like happy and breezy sort of feeling.
Sure. No, I could see that a lot. And I know I have friends here in the States, for example, in Alaska, where again,
Mm.
it's very far north and they have very long nights at times. And they say it really does kind of, I don't know, just make everybody a little more kooky, a little more weird because of that distinction
Yeah.
of like very short days and then very long nights and vice versa. So I could see that
Mhm.
definitely playing emotional havoc with you, but also opening up a lot of artistic expression for bands and artists and musicians there, due to kind of that, I don't know, energy or polar effect.
Uh, exactly.
So, another one I'm really excited. You recently did a collab single called Kill Cave with
Yeah.
our dear friends Corlyx that we have interviewed before and are just is just such a like striking person. Just has that amazing presence and Brampton as well. Um,
Mm.
but tell me a little bit about that track, the video, and what working with the two of them was like.
It was a total blessing to work with them and to continue work with them since we did a show together in Paris earlier this month. And they are just, they're amazing people. They are not only highly talented, but also like very hardworking and humble and real visionaries. And I trusted them with the whole the music video that yeah, I flew over to Italy and I didn't know until the like it came to the moment when we were shooting those scenes. I didn't know like what was the scripts or anything.
Sure.
I had no idea, but I trusted them and it turned out very well. And it turned out to be very exciting and unforgettable experience. And they are real sweethearts as well, like as as people. And
Did
yeah,
she direct the
like
video?
what?
Did she direct the
Sorry?
video? I know she does
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of videos for other bands and herself. I wondered if she directed this one.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
She
yeah,
did.
very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, and what were you saying there? again, you were kind of talking about what it was like to work on it and doing the shoot and
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that they are like they're amazing for to think that they are so gifted, but also like very very humble people, that they work hard uh for their music, not only for their music, but to like make me feel also well accommodated and welcome, for example in Italy, and then in Paris, where we played together. Like they were headlining the show, and I was technically the opener, but they did like everything to make me feel like yeah, like that they took care of all aspects of the whole trip, like booking accommodations and flights and so on, and also like helped me to she helped me to back comb my hair like before stage, and to do my nails, if you can believe that. I mean, they were the stars of the evening, but still they went like an extra mile, so
she
to
does
say.
definitely
Yeah.
have an amazing eye for fashion and aesthetic, and I think really just gets a kick out of sharing that with other people too. Like I've seen,
Totally.
videos they do
Yeah.
online, when they've worked with people, and she always wants to do everybody's hair and like makeup to, just be a part of it. And that's just how she is.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the aesthetic is amazing, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. And both of them too are, I've never met them in person, but they're both so tall that I
Yeah.
feel like if I, I'm not a short guy, but I feel like if I was in a room with them, I'd just be like, hey, what's going on right
Yeah,
now?
exactly. Like people, when they saw the video, I guess they were thinking that I'm relatively short,
Uh-huh.
while I'm 5'8", so
Oh no, that's,
it's
yeah.
not like like not on the shortest end, for at least for women. And yeah, it's just that they are that tall.
Giants, yes. I think Brandon, yeah, is something like 6'5" or something. He's a real big guy for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Caitlin too. She is very
Yes,
tall,
yes.
like the supermodel stature.
And especially always in her giant stomping boots too, which adds another 4 inches.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the future for you with this project. If you and I did another interview 1 year from now, with everything that you have coming up, what do you want to be talking about? Actualize your success with me and tell me what that looks like of the things you dream about doing in this coming year.
Well, I'm currently like in the process of booking my first tour in the US. Like aside of that show in LA that I did in April, there were people who were asking me like whether I'm gonna do more during that trip, but at the time it wasn't possible. So this time I'm trying to make it as nationwide as possible, and yeah, it's with Necrophilesh events that I signed on earlier this year, and we are very excited to be working in tandem to make this tour happen, and to make it like coast to coast, as wide as possible. So yeah, I suppose that what I want to say regarding that is that if there are promoters who are watching this interview and they would like to work with us, then yeah, hit us up. Like that would be a real pleasure. So yeah, hopefully that, and then I have a very shortly, like in less than 2 weeks, I'm leaving for Mexico. So I guess I'd be recounting that experience as well.
How
Um,
exciting is that for you? Because
yeah,
again, I kind of mentioned at the beginning talking about Gloom Wizard, but Mexico City in Mexico has this rabid goth fan base there. They
mhm,
really are just
yeah,
intense of their love for it. And I'm so excited to hear how that goes for you, because every band I know that goes down there to play says, where have these fans been
Oh,
around the world? Everyone here is just so engaged and intense.
yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be lovely.
Plus, the food is amazing too. So that'll be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
All right. Going along with that, we will make sure I'll help you out and reach out to some promoters I know to help you look for some other opportunities there. And we're really excited to get you over here in the States and have you play. And do you have any new material that you are currently working on that you're going to have along with the uh, tour to release that you want to get people excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a new single coming up. It's gonna be another one of those songs in Finnish, like with NeoFolk influences, just a bit more like danceable this
Yeah.
time, a bit more having that kind of like a goth club vibe, but also be like the echo from the forest or whatever, from the northeast. um yeah, that's very much like on my agenda to have it released this summer, if the schedules allow, since like everything takes time, like the whole promotion, the that whole part takes a lot of time and a lot of like foresight and everything. So yeah, uh that, and then I am completing my second album that should finally be out very soon. I mean, I promise that I'll work hard on it to finally put it out there.
Well, I can't wait, and we'll make sure to review it when you get it out there. Are you doing all the production and recording yourself, or are you working with a particular studio or anybody that you would want to call out?
So far, I have been doing it pretty much by myself,
Yeah.
at least the most part. Also, my friend Carnal Machinery has been helping with the sound engineering.
Oh, very cool.
And yeah, you should check their music out. They are fantastic. Also, uh, yeah, I'm not exactly sure like whether this album is gonna be finalized by someone else sound wise, but I will try to do my best to DIY
Yeah.
like it.
Well, and I think that goes along with, again, kind of the punk rock ethos that you bring
Mhm.
to your music.
Yeah,
And doing that DIY, I think, goes hand in hand. It almost makes it
yeah.
much more personal, I think, when you do it that way.
Yeah, I'm just not very well versed in the whole sound engineering department. So yeah, it's obviously it just that it takes so much time and so many like exports for each song, like fucking thousands of them.
If it wasn't
Not
for
even,
Colin,
yeah.
I'm totally fucking worthless on technology. So really, I hear you. If it wasn't for him, I would be nowhere in producing myself.
Mm,
It'd be me and an acoustic guitar.
yeah.
Well, leading up, you just shouted out somebody there. And so I always like to ask as one of our interview questions, because we're a music review page first and foremost. And I think
Mm.
you'll have a unique perspective being from Europe, where I try and keep my pulse on the European scene there, but don't always. Um, what is some new music that's inspiring you? Tell me about a couple artists that you're listening to. You just shouted out one, and I'll make sure to include that link along with the interview. But who else
Yeah.
is has you fired up and just you're having fun listening to?
Oh, there are so many, like we are gonna be here all day or all night for you if I'm gonna try to remember
I mean, you
everyone,
can
but
take as many as you want, but
yeah.
just if you want to do a couple, two or three, like
Yeah. Well, obviously Corlyx that we discussed earlier.
wrong there.
Then I'm very excited to work with Denuit from France.
What is
Yeah,
it?
we
Denui?
Denuit. Yeah,
Denui? I like that.
Denuit. Yeah, and La Mécanique from Canada. Like we are
Love
doing
them.
this
Love them.
this
They're on
festival.
Cold Transmission, one of my favorite labels.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are doing this Mexico tour together
Oh,
this
you're
coming.
playing it with La Medic. That's wonderful. I've reviewed them a
Yeah.
couple times. And yeah, Susie and Andy are dear friends. I love their label, and I love that band. That was one that they sent over to me like early on when I first started doing the music review page. So that's very exciting.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Then I have to mention Aux Animaux, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's a solo artist based in Sweden, but originating from Turkey. So she's a good friend, and yeah, like she was in Helsinki last December with her friends. She passed away, and we like I had the honor to hang out with all of them, the whole crew,
Sure.
and yeah, like check out her stuff. She's awesome.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put a link to that too. That's all very exciting. All right,
Yeah.
so we're coming up here to the end, and one of the things I always like to do when we have an interview is give our listeners a taste of your music. Do you
Yeah.
have a particular song that you'd like to spin out to introduce new listeners for the first time, be it one of your solo ones or the new video that you did with Corlyx, or what's something that you want to have them listen to really get a grasp of what is Suzi Sabotage?
I'd say Ori Surulle, my song, my single from 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It's not your like archetypal dance anthem, but yeah, it's more like an experiment in the like a bridge between the world of synthesizers and then NeoFolk and all this kind of like traditional elements, and it has the kantele, the Finnish national instrument, and as you can like guess from the name, it's in Finnish. Like it's my first release song in my native language, so that was very exciting, and very exciting to see that people were so fascinated by the language, and they were asking me questions about it, and be like oh yeah, like I want to learn Finnish next,
Yeah. What does
and
that
yeah,
mean
yeah,
to you to have a song like that, where a lot of times bands will go to English or German or something in this scene in order to get across to mainstream audiences. But getting to sing in your native tongue like that, what does that mean to you, to your artistic process?
well, I got like over the years I got very rusty um
Sure.
writing like lyrics in Finnish, since my most for the most part it was in English, but then I got kind of like adapted to it, and yeah, I love getting like the whole the vibe that we have here across, like with the like sound waves already,
Yeah,
that
do you
yeah, that
feel like more comfortable when you're doing it, where you can kind of cut loose more when you're singing in it because it just, is your natural tongue?
um well, in English has always been sort of like my anchor language, so I wouldn't say that it makes such a huge difference to me, like switching up between those two languages. But yeah, I mean, it's been great to be sort of like in the God scene, like sort of like an ambassador for this language that is very rare and is spoken only by like a few million people.
Yeah. I'm so excited. This has been so great talking to you. We'll spin out the song. The last curveball question I'm going to throw you at the end here is because that little tail came by, and I got to pick up Freya, my three-legged 21-toed cat over here.
Ooh.
Tell me, because you're going to have to be coming over here to Mexico. Tell me about your little furry friends that you're leaving behind. What are their names and what are they like? Because we always have to talk about cats here.
Yeah, there are Valentino, is a black cat, and then Tom, British short hair, silver tabby. So yeah, two boys.
Two boys. Wow.
They are amazing. They are like their personalities are night and day, but they complement each other in that way, in that special way.
Yes. This has been wonderful. From us here at Sounds and Shadows, this has been the interview with Suzi Sabotage. We're going to spin out to one of her songs now. For all of you out there in interweb land, look her up. Get ready for that tour. Promoters, reach out, or you can reach out to me and I can put you in touch if you have opportunities for when she comes here to the States to play. And everybody out there in interweb land, keep it dark, yeah.